What's going on, guys? My name is Baldy_OD, and in today's video I just want to talk about why Zangief is a weaker or lower tier character in this game. Now honestly, there's a lot of reasons why, but I was going to go over about 5 or 6. One of them that was really apparent to me is that like his reversals are really rough. Like his level 1, it's completely invul, which is nice, but it is like actually useless as a reversal. I mean, like I can't think of anything where you can use it as a reversal. It's really bad. His level 2 is actually not that bad, and it can actually catch grabs really well. It does like more like things with more whiff recovery. Think like heavies, like drive impacts. It can handle all that stuff just fine. But like a lot of this game's pressure is mediums or lights, which I'll show you a basic reversal scenario that happens all the time. This is a meaty from Ryu. He has enough time to block it. Like, it's 18 frames. The move is just so slow that like entire mediums can recover in time. And it's not just like a Ryu exclusive thing. This also happens with Juri, Ken, Luke. The list goes on and on and on. It's very frustrating because you just eat a fat punish counter, lose even more meter, probably just sort of lose the game afterwards. It's very bad. And then his level 3, while it's a really good reversal and it's really fast, it's a grab, which, I mean, it hurts and helps him, because like most people would normally just like walk back out of range for to dodge at level 3, but he would characters would get grabbed. But that also hurts him because if people use like airborne moves or even just jump a lot, it can be really tricky. Now I won't lie, in the mind game this can help, because if they just neutral jump, then you can almost always just do jump heavy punch into EX Borscht Lariat, or not Borscht Lariat, Borscht Dynamite for more damage, and maybe be able to put him in some strike throw meaty. But like it's pretty iffy. Mainly just like you go for a meaty button. Another thing that I think is actually really bad about him is that like basically any real scenario he has to use meter. And like what I mean is if he gets like a light punch hit from like say this far, Lariat's just gonna whiff. That's gonna be punishable. So he either has to get closer, like really close, and do an EX Lariat, or what you normally do, and you have to drive rush, which takes 3 whole bars. It can be really rough, and he's using so much meter for such little reward. Most characters, if they get like a good hit like that in neutral, or like just a simple crouching light punch in neutral, they either just have a special move they can cancel off of and then drive rush for only 1 bar meter and likely more damage and scarier pressure, or they don't have to use meter at all and they can just say get a knockdown, throw a fireball, and then just walk their way down, or drive rush, which is honestly even scarier because that's an even rougher mix-up that you got to deal with. And it's not even just things like that. Like even for his like really good EX punish counter combos after a drive impact, he has to use just so much meter. Like don't get me wrong, something simple as this is good, but there's like actually just no reward off of that. Like pretty much except like drive rush, crouching heavy kick, and like maybe mid-range running bear grab if you're lucky. So you have to, if you want like actually use meter, I mean to actually get the combo efficiently and also like threaten them on their knockdown, you got to use a lot of meter. Which kind of brings me to my next point of, if you want to like put your opponent in a scary situation where they like have to guess, or like really threatening, or you want to get like a better positioning on screen, you sacrifice so much of your damage. It's actually insane. Like that combo right there that I just did, the simple one, did 3200. But then if I say want to do one that like gives me better screen position, I have to use basically 3 bars, and I lose a lot of damage for really not that much in return. It's not like he has to immediately guess or anything. Like if he sees me drive rush, if I don't stop and I try to go for a strike or a hit, he can DP me very easily. So you like pretty much have to commit or like hard read that they're gonna just DP, which can be nice, don't get me wrong, but it's just he uses so much meter in places where other characters don't have to. Like, even on his, like, wall bounce combo right here. Hold on, let me change it. Even on this combo right here, he has to use almost 5 bars of meter for 35%. That's a lot. Considering he, like, is really, his defense is really rough, especially in this game. It's horrible. So if you run out of meter, it's just absolutely horrendous. Because his best chance of you getting your opponent off of you is level 2, level 3, which I already mentioned, both have flaws, and standing heavy punch, which isn't the worst thing ever, but like it's not the greatest because it's 4 frames. It's not like you can automatically use it as a DI counter, but it is very nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to undermine this move at all. Another thing is, a lot of his moves are really just hard to use in game, mainly because they just straight up suck. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Stomps, you have to straight up gimmick people out with stomps. Like if they're gonna perfect parry the last hit, you have to like stop, which is minus if they just mash. Then you have to get like an actual combo off of it, you need to dry rush because again it's minus. And like you can cancel off a lariat to be fair, but it's not a true combo at all if they just block the last hit. So it's just really, really bad, and it just turns that whole move into a guessing game when it really shouldn't. And it's just not, like, the damage is whatever. It's unsafe on block. Yeah, like the list can go on for stomps. It's a very bad move. His crouching heavy punch, I honestly don't know how they went from Street Fighter V crouching heavy punch to this heavy punch. Like the difference is actually night and day. I mean, at least his old one was pretty good, and it used to be able to hit behind before they, you know, gutted that. But now it's 12 frames. It's active for a while, I'll give it that. But the recovery is 35 frames. It's so bad. I mean, it's bad enough to where a character can jump behind you and then drive rush into their biggest, like, max damage combo starter heavy. It's bad, and the reward is horrible too. Like, there's no good reward. The only reward I've seen this have ever was from like a max distance level 2 Lily ult and Dalsum teleporting like super high up into the air, which like you're almost never going to be able to get that hit, and even if you could, there's better options. Like the move is just so flawed. I don't even know why this is even like the way it is, and it's also minus 19, non-cancelable, so you can just get blown to smithereens by any person who knows that it's minus, because pretty much any move in this game can hit Zangief right here. Another one that's really rough to use is his drop kick. Both of them actually. This one, I mean, it has some nice gimmicks to it that I do appreciate. Like the whole automatic cancel is nice. It's mainly just on hit and on block is where this thing actually falls really short, because on block, I mean, it's on average minus 41, sometimes even higher than that. Then if you get a hit, like if you just get a counter hit, hold on, sorry. Then if you just get a normal counter hit, like there's no reward there at all. You can't confirm, there's no wall bounce, so it has to be a punish counter off of a hard read fireball, which sometimes they can still even DP it. Like, it's really not good. The only saving graces that this move has, really, is the fact that it can, you know, do the whole cancel shenanigans, and if you're low enough to the ground, you can use it in combos, like, say, an optimal stun combo, or just really weird shenanigans if you're lucky. Then the grounded drop kick, I mean, like, it's not even that the idea of it is bad. Like, I see the like intent of the move, but the fact that it is 5 frame startup to counter throws, it's pretty bad considering, you know, Guile, Chun-Li's, those are all faster, who serve the same purpose. They don't have as good as reward in their defense, but it's still just a very slow move. It has 40 frames of whiff recovery, which is just horrendous. I mean, if you use it to its most common application, which is to counter Jury Fireball, like you always get hit by the jury fireball, and like you really don't even have time to do anything. It's just like a way to like trade damage and then dash forward. There's the difference in reward between the standard hit and the counter hit is pretty much non-existent. I don't think there actually is a difference other than a little extra bit of damage. It's really hard to use this move, especially with how slow the startup is in 16 frames. It's pretty rough. And then, I mean, I can't not mention bad Zangief moves without mentioning the one and only Bumdra Storm. I don't know what they did with this move. I think they should just like completely rework this move or just gut it. Or not gut it, or just, you know, buff it a lot, because like I just don't know what they were trying to do. Like, they know it's bad. They made it a little better than what it was in Street Fighter V. You know, they made the input easier. They made it counter more kicks. But it's also like, if it's never gonna be able to hit crouching medium kicks, which is such a big thing in this game, and it's so slow, it's never gonna be good. Like, honestly, if they just make a counter crouching standing, I mean not crouching standing, crouching kicks, it'd be a fine move, but because it doesn't do that and like doesn't hit against airborne kicks or anything like that at all, it makes the move just so niche. And the startup is not helping it, because even on moves that you can react to, because of how long the startup is, like, it's not a lot to be fair, but it, in the context of where you want to use this move, which is mainly on reaction or as fast as possible, you're always just gonna mess it up. Like, it's just so hard to like react to stuff. Like, it's hard to react to that. It's hard to react to this with that move, unless like, you know, your opponent's autopiloting. Which, I mean, even then, if they're just autopiloting, doing it over and over, you might as well just drive impact. Another thing he has that really hurts him, in my opinion, is that like he does not have a buffering standing medium kick, and he almost has like never any reward on his crouching medium kick. This game is so independent. Like, a character's viability, in my opinion, is really independent on if they have a good crouching medium kick buffer or a good like crouching or a good drive rush crouching medium kick. And since he doesn't have that, it really hurts him, because like the mid range is a lot iffier, because all of these moves that he wants to use in the mid range, while they are good, they're big, some of them are even disjointed, they all lose to drive impact in some way. You have to hit them so late in the active frames for it to be able to counter drive impact. You're never like realistically going to be able to react back, no matter what it is. Like with this, all of these moves are loose to drive impact. Like, everybody knows that, so you just eat fat punishes and make the scenario even worse for you. That's not to say those moves aren't good, though. These moves are good. It's just like they have a weakness or a flaw. One other thing that I think hurts him pretty bad in this game is that his SPD, just like how I mentioned in one of my earlier points, he needs meter to get any type of pressure. But the pressure, unlike other command grabs in this game, is almost not like non-existent. The only real pressure he has is after a light SPD, if he does a drive rush standing light kick, or a drive rush crouching heavy kick off of any variation of it. Which, even then, if they know you're gonna do it, which is very common to do, they can just drive impact it, or they can parry it. Now, to be fair, you can counteract those things by, say, just like drive rushing and then walking forward a little bit like this. But that works best if they like are doing a parry, not really a drive impact, because you'll be able to get hit due to how slow it is. But it's just needing to use meter to get Oki off of every SPD, which is, you know, the grab are going to be able to get the most. Because, I mean, this is a great grab, don't get me wrong, but it's really slow, and the range on it is like actually abysmal. So like, that's fine that you need to use meter on that, because the reward is amazing and it has meterless reward. But you getting sent so far after an SPD, like, the damage is cool and all. The damage buff is fine from, you know, 5 to 6, but I don't think the cutoff is worth it. And I get why they did it, because having a character just have meterless, you know, strong strike throw vertex Oki can be very frustrating, especially for newer players. But I feel like there's a type of middle ground, and I just don't think he really has that right now. And one other thing, one last thing, his lariat is really slow. It's really slow. Startup on normal lariat is horrendous. 15 frames. Projectile invul on frame 6. It's really rough. Like you can't even use it as like a perfect counter to like say airborne attacks. Like if you try to lariat a carry dive kick, more often than not you're gonna get stuffed out by the dive kick, and that's just the way it is. Even if you use EX, because the invincibility is still the same. The only difference in the invincibility is that the projectile invul is frame 1, which works against not many characters. It's nice against Rashid, but that's kind of as far as I take it. It's not the greatest thing ever. And that's really it. At the end of the day, I think he has the right like tool set to be good in this game, but the tools themselves aren't good enough, if that makes sense. Like all of his stuff, I see what they want him to be, but I just think a lot of his moves are pretty undertuned in comparison to the rest of the cast. Now, this isn't to say you can't win with him. It's still very possible to win with Zangief. You know, Snake Eyes, Ichiban. I mean, not Ichiban, Idazan, Kichipa. The list goes on. There are definitely a lot of good Zangief players out there that do make him work. It's just he needs to work harder than pretty much most of the entire cast. And I mean, hey, I will say this: his damage is really funny. Like his damage is hilarious. Being able to pretty much kill people in like 4 or 5 hits is actually so comical, and he looks cool when he's doing it. So, you know, at least he has that going for him. That's gonna wrap up this video, and I will try to make more videos recently. Life's been catching up to me. I've been very busy. If you have any suggestions, criticisms, please let me know. I take all that in, and I try to make my videos better with each one. And that's really about it. See ya.